Welcome back to Let's Talk Wellness Now. I'm your host, Dr. Deb, and today we're diving into a fascinating topic that's taking the wellness world by storm, the carnivore diet. Yes, you've heard me right. A diet that's all about meat and animal products and nothing else. For some, this may sound extreme, but for others, it's been a transformative way to heal chronic conditions, lose weight, and take control of their health. Today, we're going to explore what the carnivore diet is, why it's gaining so much attention, and how it might just be the key to healing your body, especially if you're dealing with conditions like MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, or other neurological challenges. I'll share practical tips with you to get you started, common pitfalls to avoid, and why this way of eating is a game changer for your gut and brain health. So grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea and let's jump right in today. So what is this thing called the carnivore diet? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. A diet focused entirely on animal-based foods. Thin steak, chicken, eggs, fish, butter, and organ meats. That's it. Sounds like a man's dream, right? Well, there's no fruits, no vegetables, no grains, no plant-based oils. Why? Because the philosophy behind carnivore is simple. Our ancestors thrived on nutrient-dense animal foods, and by eliminating plant-based foods that can trigger inflammation or gut issues, we allow our bodies to heal from the inside out. Now, I want to talk a little bit with you about the history behind the carnivore diet. To truly understand the carnivore diet, it's important to look at its historical roots. So for thousands of years, humans relied heavily on animal-based foods for survival. Early hunter-gatherer societies prioritized hunting large game and fishing. And these provided the most calorie-dense and nutrient-rich sustenance available. These practices shaped our biology, our digestive systems, and efficiently utilized animal proteins and fats. Even more recent history, certain cultures have thrived on predominantly carnivore diets. Inuit people of Arctic, for example, consumed a diet primarily consisting of fish, seals, and whale blubber. Not really my favorite idea of a dinner, but that's okay. They had little to no plants, yet they remained remarkably healthy. Similarly, the Maasai tribe in East Africa traditionally ate a diet based on meat, blood, and milk, boasting robust health and low incidences of chronic diseases. The resurgence of the carnivore diet in modern times is largely credited to advocates seeking relief from autoimmune conditions, obesity, and metabolic disorders. And by looking back at these historical dietary patterns, we're rediscovering the profound benefits of diet centered around nutrient-dense animal-based foods. So, is there really science behind all of this? Well, there is. The success of the carnivore diet lies in its ability to reduce systemic inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and repair the gut lining. When you eliminate carbohydrates from your body actually shifts to using fat for fuel through a process called ketosis. We know this very well from the ketogenic diet. This process actually reduces insulin levels and promotes cellular repair. And animal-based foods, particularly red meat and organ meat, provide all the essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that your body needs without the interference of plant-based anti-nutrients. So for individuals with neurological conditions like MS, this shift is especially important. Studies show that ketones, the byproducts of fat metabolism, can have neuroprotective effects, and they fuel the brain cells more efficiently than glucose and may help reduce oxidative stress, a key factor in neurodegeneration. Additionally, the high levels of omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish like salmon support brain health and reduce inflammation. Now, why does this matter for people with neurological conditions like MS? Well, because research is showing us that gut health is directly tied to brain health. If your gut is inflamed, your brain is likely inflamed too. And by repairing the gut-brain axis through the carnivore diet, you may experience a reduction in inflammation. You may have improved energy and even fewer neurological symptoms. For my listeners with MS, this could be life-changing. Imagine fewer flare-ups, less brain fog, and more days where you feel like your best self. That's the promise of focusing on healing your gut and brain with a carnivore approach. So why does carnivore diet help MS flares anyway? Well, MS, multiple sclerosis, is an autoimmune disease characterized by inflammation and damage to the myelin sheath, the protective coating around the neurons in the brain. These flare-ups often result from heightened immune activity and systemic inflammation. The carnivore diet can help mitigate these issues in several ways. They reduce systemic inflammation by eliminating plant-based anti-nutrients like lectins and oxalates. The carnivore diet minimizes potential gut irritants that can contribute to the immune system's overactivation, especially things like gluten. Ketones and neurological health. The ketogenic nature of the carnivore diet produces ketones, which serve as an efficient fuel source for the brain. Ketones have neuroprotective properties and can help reduce the oxidative stress, a critical factor in MS flare-ups. Gut healing. A compromised gut lining can lead to increased intestinal permeability, or what we call leaky gut, which has been linked to autoimmune conditions like MS. The nutrient-dense, easily digestible animal foods in the carnivore diet help repair the gut lining and reduce the influx of inflammatory molecules that enter the bloodstream. Let's not forget stabilizing blood sugar. Blood sugar spikes and insulin resistance can exacerbate inflammation. The carnivore diet stabilizes blood sugar levels, reducing one of the triggers for inflammatory processes. And we have enhanced immune regulation. By supporting a balanced gut microbiome and reducing inflammation, the diet helps modulate immune activity, potentially decreasing the frequency and severity of MS flare-ups. This is why the carnivore diet isn't just about what you eat. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to heal, protect, and thrive. For our neurological patients suffering from MS, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's, it can mean fewer flare-ups, better energy, and high quality of life. Now, let's get started on talking about what this carnivore diet actually looks like. If you're curious about trying carnivore, here's some good news. Getting started is simple. There are 3 easy steps. First, start with the basics. Stick to high quality animal foods like beef, lamb, chicken, and fish. Eggs and butter are great too. If you're feeling adventurous, incorporate organ meats like liver and nutritional powerhouses. Eggs are powerful because they're full of choline, and choline crosses the blood-brain barrier and repairs the neurological damage that's occurring in there. Choose organ meats that are organic. Actually, choose any meat that's organic and grass-fed. This is where the quality matters. Organic and grass-fed meats are not only nutrient-dense, but also free from harmful toxins like antibiotics, hormones, and pesticides that are commonly found in conventionally raised meats. Grass-fed beef, for example, contains higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, both of which support anti-inflammatory processes. On the other hand, conventional meats may expose you to chemicals and residues that can disrupt hormones and increase inflammation, counteracting the healthy benefits of the diet. When we're dealing with neurological issues, we're trying to get these toxins out of the body because most of the time they're overburdened in the body, or there's a person that has a genetic defect that can't eliminate these toxins. So adding them into your diet when all you're doing is carnivore really defeats the purpose of doing carnivore. You want to ditch the processed foods. Say goodbye to anything added, sugars, preservatives, or artificial ingredients. Your focus should be on whole, unprocessed foods. So when you're shopping, only shop the outside edge of the grocery store, but avoid where the fruits and vegetables section is for this part. We usually talk about just shopping on the outside. When you're doing carnivore, you gotta avoid the fruits and vegetable aisle. You wanna make sure you really stay hydrated and mind your electrolytes. This is critical. As your body adapts to carnivore, you might lose water weight, which can deplete electrolytes. Adding salt to your food and sipping on bone broth can make all the difference in the world on how you're feeling. I want to give you a pro tip. Keep it simple and listen to your body. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not, don't force it. Carnivore naturally helps regulate your appetite, so you'll find yourself eating more intuitively. And here's a little bonus tip for my coffee lovers out there. If you're struggling to give up cream and sweetener, try adding a bit of butter or heavy cream instead. It's truly a game changer. All right, before we dive into something incredible like success stories and strategies for breakthrough and looking at our common challenges, let's take a quick break and hear from today's sponsor. Stick around because you don't want to miss the tips I'm about to share with you. They'll help you thrive on this diet. And if you haven't already liked, subscribed, or shared, it means a lot to me and keeps us on the air to producing these shows for you. So please like, subscribe, and share for me. All right, welcome back. Now, let's talk about some of the common hurdles people face on the carnivore diet and how to overcome them. The most common challenge is, you guessed it, stalls in weight loss or progress. This can happen for a few reasons. There could be hidden carbs in what you're eating. So double check labels. Even on meats like sausages and deli cuts, additives can sneak in where you least expect them. You also may not be getting enough fat. Remember, this diet is high fat, moderate protein. If you're feeling sluggish or not seeing results, increase your fat intake with things like butter, tallow, or fatty cuts of meat. I'm not a huge fat person, so this is a challenge for me when I'm trying to do carnivore. I don't like to eat the fat on the meat either. I tend to pick it away. So I will do a little bit more fatty cuts of meat and do a little bit more butter instead. Too many calories. It's possible to overeat even on carnivore. And while animal foods are nutrient dense, they are also calorie dense, especially fatty cuts of meat. Pay attention to your hunger signals and trust your body to tell you when it's full. If weight loss is a goal, consider portion control and meal timing, focusing on eating until you're satisfied rather than overly full. Additionally, tracking your intake for a few days can provide insight into whether you're consuming more than your body actually needs. Now, what about the myth about cholesterol and cardiovascular health? Well, one of our biggest concerns is people express about the carnivore diet is that they fear that they're eating high amounts of fat and cholesterol will lead to heart disease. I want to address this head on with you. The idea that cholesterol is the enemy is rooted in very outdated science. Modern research shows that dietary cholesterol has very little to no effect on the blood cholesterol levels for most people. In fact, cholesterol is a vital molecule that your body needs to produce its hormones, repair cells, and support brain health. So what about saturated fat? Despite its bad reputation, studies have found no consistent link between saturated fat intake and increased cardiovascular disease. Instead, systemic inflammation and insulin resistance often are driven by high carbohydrate processed diets. And these are the culprits actually behind heart disease. On a carnivore diet, your body becomes efficient at burning fat for fuel, and triglyceride levels typically decrease while HDL, the good cholesterol, improves. Many people also see a reduction in markers of inflammation, which is a critical factor in overall cardiovascular health. Now, what about those of you who don't have a gallbladder? If you've had your gallbladder removed, a high-fat diet like carnivore can sometimes pose challenges. The gallbladder stores bile, which is critical for breaking down and absorbing dietary fats. Without it, your body may struggle to digest the increased fat intake. To support your digestion, you may need to incorporate bile salts or digestive enzyme supplements to break down the fats more effectively. And starting with smaller portions of fat and gradually increasing your intake can also help ease this transition. Make sure you talk to your healthcare provider about this. So, to those who are worried about cholesterol or heart disease, rest assured that eating a diet rich in high quality fats and proteins can actually support your heart health rather than harm it. And if you don't have a gallbladder, don't let that hold you back. There are tools and strategies to help your body adapt. Now, if you're feeling stuck, don't be afraid to experiment with some intermittent fasting. This can give your body a chance to reset and help you break through those plateaus. What is intermittent fasting? Well, it's a structured eating pattern where you alternate between periods of eating and fasting. Unlike traditional diets, it doesn't specify what you eat, but rather when you eat. So common methods include 16-8, where you fast for 16 hours and eat during an 8-hour window. And alternative day fasting, where you fast for 24 hours every other day. I want to put in a bit of caution here. As females, we don't want to be fasting for 24 hours every other day. It really disrupts the hormonal production for women. For men, it's great. It actually increases their testosterone levels. For women, not so much. And we see a lot of thyroid dysfunction and hormonal imbalance as a result of fasting like these hours. So make sure you're working with somebody who really understands intermittent fasting for women to dial in a plan that's specific for you. Here's how it works. During the fasting period, your insulin levels drop, allowing your body to access stored fat for energy. This process also stimulates cellular repair mechanisms and increases the production of human growth hormone, which supports metabolism and muscle growth. For those on a carnivore diet, fasting can enhance fat adaptation, helping your body become more efficient at burning fat for fuel. There are some benefits of an intermittent fasting protocol. Enhanced fat burning. Fasting periods encourage your body to tap into fat stores for energy, which can accelerate weight loss. Reduced inflammation. Fasting has been shown to lower markers of inflammation, which is particularly beneficial for individuals with autoimmune and neurological conditions. It also improves insulin sensitivity. If you can stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce insulin resistance, a common issue for many people in our culture, you can improve insulin sensitivity. Many people report improved focus and reduced brain fog while fasting. As ketones provide a steady energy source for the brain, we see an improvement in mental clarity. So here are some tips for success on the intermittent fasting with carnivore diet. Start slowly. If you're new to fasting, begin a shorter fasting period, like 12 hours, and gradually increase. Stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, and consider adding electrolytes to avoid dehydration and fatigue. Listen to your body. If you feel lightheaded or over-fatigued, break your fast and adjust as needed. Combine this with carnivore. Since carnivore diet naturally stabilizes your blood sugar, many people find fasting easier when eating animal-based foods. Now, intermittent fasting isn't about deprivation. It's a tool to help your body reset and work more efficiently. Coupled with the carnivore diet, it can amplify your results and lead to incredible health benefits. Now, we wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't talk about the gut-brain connection. The gut-brain connection is a two-way communication system linking the digestive tract and the central nervous system, particularly the brain. The connection occurs via the vagus nerve and is influenced by hormones, neurotransmitters, and immune system factors. Scientists often refer to the gut as the second brain because of its vast network of neurons and its ability to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which play critical roles in mood, cognition, and overall mental health. We do care a lot about this gut-brain connection. When the gut is inflamed or unhealthy, it can send distress signals to the brain, contributing to the conditions such as anxiety, depression, brain fog, and even neurological diseases like MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, and ALS. This connection is especially relevant because the gut houses about 70% of the body's immune system. Any imbalance in the gut microbiome, such as an overgrowth of harmful bacteria or a compromised gut lining, can lead to systemic inflammation that impacts the brain. The importance of focusing on the gut-brain connection is by looking at inflammation reduction. A healthy gut reduces systemic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is linked to numerous conditions, including autoimmune diseases and cognitive decline. Improved neurotransmitter production. The gut produces neurotransmitters that regulate mood and brain function. So, for example, over 90% of serotonin is actually made in the gut. We need serotonin not just for mood, but for great cognitive function and improved sleep as well. And then we have the barrier of integrity. The gut-brain barrier is analogous to the blood-brain barrier. So when the gut lining becomes permeable, a condition known as leaky gut, toxins and harmful substances can enter the bloodstream and ultimately affect our brain health. So how does Carnivore actually support this gut-brain connection? Well, by eliminating the plant-based irritants and the anti-nutrients such as lectins and oxalates, the carnivore diet helps repair the gut lining. Nutrient-dense animal foods provide amino acids and fats needed to nourish the gut, reducing inflammation and supporting the brain function. Additionally, foods like bone broth, which are rich in collagen and gelatin, can heal and strengthen the gut lining, further protecting the gut-brain barrier. Understanding this gut-brain connection helps us see why healing the gut is so critical, not just for physical health, but for mental clarity as well. And let's not forget emotional resilience. A healthier gut means a healthier brain, and that's why it's such an important area for us to focus on overall with wellness. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to touch on something I think is absolutely fascinating: the gut-brain barrier. This is the communication highway between your gut and your brain. When your gut is inflamed, it can affect your brain, leading to symptoms like anxiety, brain fog, and even worsening neurological conditions. The carnivore diet is like hitting the reset button on your gut. By eliminating these plant-based irritants and focusing on nutrient-dense healing foods, you're giving your body the tools it needs to repair that barrier and reduce that inflammation. So for those of you with neurological conditions like MS, ALS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, imagine what life could look like if your body wasn't constantly battling inflammation. The potential here is enormous. And the best part, it's entirely within your control. All right, my friends, that's all for today's episode. I hope you're as excited about the carnivore diet as I am. If you've been looking for a way to take control of your health, reduce inflammation, and feel your best, this could be the answer that you've been searching for. If you've loved today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review. It's really important for us to hear from you. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget, follow me on social media for more tips and inspiration. Until next time, I'm Dr. Deb, and let's talk wellness now. Take care and be well.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Let's Talk Wellness Now brings expert insights directly to you. Please note that the views and information shared by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Let's Talk Wellness Now, its management, or our partners. Each affiliate, sponsor, and partner is an independent entity with its own perspectives. Today's content is provided for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered specific advice, whether financial, medical, or legal. While we strive to present accurate and useful information, we cannot guarantee its completeness or relevance to your unique circumstances. We encourage you to consult with a qualified professional to address your individual needs. Your use of information from this broadcast is entirely at your own risk. By continuing to listen, you agree to indemnify and hold Let's Talk Wellness Now and its associates harmless from any claims or damages arising from the use of this content. We may update this disclaimer at any time, and changes will take effect immediately upon posting or broadcasts. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find this episode both insightful and thought-provoking. Listener discretion is advised.